everybody. I'm Jen Fein. I am a co-founder and head of product at YouLi, and we partner with the Transformational Travel Council to host their allyship platform. And so that's our sort of formal relationship with the TTC. We really love to provide the technology to kind of power this community of travel. But I was actually really lucky to be invited very recently to join the TTC on a walking mentorship tour of the Camino. So the Camino has been on my list for a very, very long time, and it just sort of felt like this, one of those I'm being called kind of things, like this was meant to happen. And so I was lucky enough to actually go in September, and on that walk, I actually got to meet Heather, who was somewhere in the set. And so we just, connected in that way that you do when you spend 7 days walking a long route together. And as part of that, we sort of had all sorts of ideas about how to, create more connection. And one of the things that came up was the idea of running more of these kinds of events to sort of welcome new allies into the TTC community and share their stories and just talk about the incredible power of transformational travel. And so that's why we're here today. And of course, we're also glad to have other members as well. And so hopefully at the end, we'll spend a little bit of time kind of connecting with everybody else too. So I want to say welcome, Heather, to the TTC and to this event. You want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Heather Morse. I am the founder and travel designer at Create Joy Travel. And we are a goal-oriented travel company. So we essentially take people's desired outcomes for self-development and turn them into intentions that align with certain goals for their itinerary. So whether that's immersing themselves in a language to become more social, or walking a certain amount of kilometers or an elevation, even though you don't count the kilometers. But so we set SMART goals for our travelers to kind of help them grow in the direction they want to. And so obviously the TTC very much aligns with that. And so here we are.
And you launched Create Joy Travel very recently, right? So in the last few years, correct?
July 21st of this year, we officially launched, but we've been studying behavioral change and looking at developing our process, gaining feedback, joining associations like this, actually going back to school and taking courses to kind of work through this and build this out. And so we've had a lot of momentum since we launched. So it's super exciting to be a part of this sort of transformation economy that's kind of growing here.
And so I would love to hear a story, your favorite story of transformation that you've achieved, even in such a short period of time. You must have had a few transformational stories.
Yeah, there's one, and this is near and dear to my heart because it involves a close friend of mine. And it's actually a story of setting a goal and not being able to achieve that goal, but still having that transformation. And so it involves a woman named Kim, and she dealt with tragedy about 6 years ago. And from that tragedy, she had a lot of anxiety and was, taking anxiety medication, and she had a giant bag of it. And so we decided to go on a trip to Iceland and do the whole ring road and hike and scale Iceland's largest glacier. And unfortunately, as she was, and actually not unfortunately, because it ended up going the way the universe wanted it to go, but about a mile in, she had to turn back around, and she sort of saw that as a turning point. And has worked her way to taking that bag of medication down from maybe like 7 or 8 different types of medication to just one. And for me, I think that's my favorite because she wasn't able to achieve the goal that she set, but in a way she did, because she's slowly working towards growing and improving and I think she's going to get to be able to climb that glacier eventually. And that's really exciting. So that one's my favorite because it's not, it's transformation it's everywhere. It's whatever you make of it.
And I love that too, because it's that idea that, set goals, that's important, but not being attached to those outcomes, because sometimes actually that was just the thing to kind of get you moving. But it wasn't about getting to the end. It was about getting started and finding a path. Right. And I think that's such a beautiful representation of that.
Yeah. I think it was good too, because it also sort of helped me look and kind of dig deeper into our process and realize that maybe I needed to change something in the process. Like maybe there was something I could have done differently to sort of maybe different intentions set for her, or a different approach based on her personality to help with that behavioral change and accomplishing that goal. And so it was really nice that she got out of it what she was looking for at the end of the day, and Create Joy's process got a little bit better because of it. So that's my favorite, because it's just,
I love that.
Yeah, shows growth on both sides.
Well, and I know on our walk with Joao, who was one of our guides from Walking Mentorship, I feel like one of the things I got to learn, again, it's my constant lesson of like letting go, of like needing to know where I'm going, of needing to know how many kilometers I'm walking today. Like there's a lot of just just walk, just get on the path and start walking. Don't have too many expectations, because that can kind of really clutter and make you miss the things that you actually need to see. And I think what's really cool is that, you run your own transformational travel business, but you went on the Walking Mentorship tour. And so how did that feel to like flip around and actually be the traveler, the one being transformed instead of the one guiding?
Yeah, I think it was really profound. Being with like-minded people. I mean, it kind of goes back to this conversation, like being a part of the TTC, you're with people who see beauty and opportunity and so many things, and awe. We were just talking about awe, that I think having the chance to walk with people that are that like-minded, that do see those things, that are honest and truthful with you. We were talking about how Joao just like opened us up to be able to be silly and goofy and vulnerable with each other. And so, it teaches you how to give that to your travelers as well. I mean, we're a month out and we're still getting messages that bring us back to those moments. Thanks, Joao. Like we constantly get WhatsApp messages that are bringing us back and not letting us forget. And that's what transformation is about. And so being able to experience it, it's verklempt. I'm verklempt, but it was, it like helped. Don't cry on a webinar. Don't cry on a webinar. It truly helps you be better and do better. Which, helps other people be better and do better. So that's,
And Jody, who's on the call, was also on the walk with us. And I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like we all cried on that walk, right? Like, and the ability to like create a space where like, sort of 8 strangers can get together and just like cry together within the first few days of knowing each other. I mean, that's something else, right? And that's really the power of the spaces that, transformational travel companies create, right? And like, I think we just stepped right into it, right? Because we just were like all in from like the moment. Like I met Heather in the square in Santiago, and she's like, oh yeah, my apartment burned down, and then blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm sorry, wait, what? Back up, right? And so like we're right away, we're just like straight into like, what has brought us here, and like being really honest about the journeys that we're on. And it was just like from that moment, it was just like continuously connecting. And I, it's one of those magical things. And I don't know, Joao, you're sort of like walking around in the square, so I don't know if you want to speak to this. I feel like I shouldn't speak on your behalf. Do you want to kind of share like your vision for how you create that kind of space for transformation?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm speaking very softly because I don't want to wake up anyone. So just behind me, this very big hotel, and everybody's sleeping. So I'm out in the golf course and trying to really well, but it's really amazing actually to just listen to you and see you. Um, I don't know, what can I say? I think I think in the end of the day, we try to be really honest with ourselves and honest with the people around us. And that kind of make things easier because you connect with the energy of each one. And that maybe allows you to read better the room and what's happening. Of course, we kind of have a plan. I think that's a good thing to start, but then there is life, right? And when life happens, and it's tremendously levered by nature and the walk itself, our activity, our contribution becomes very unique. And we do have this sense that it's actually not it's not a vague word. You know, every day is unique and special. Every person is unique and special. And you sense that, you accept that, because can be sometimes challenging as well. And you kind of try to get through the hours you have, giving the best you can with what you know and what you have. And then you go to sleep, and the next day you do it again. So I know it might sound a bit simple, but maybe it is actually. Maybe it is simple. And I think it's a little bit like cooking. Every person is an ingredient in its own, values and skills and moods. And we try to put them together. And there is actually no recipe. So every meal is different. Every meal is special, very tasty. And maybe because we know that you cannot repeat that meal, it's very special. And I know that sometimes this is very hard to share or explain, but in the end, I think in the end everybody understands that. And hopefully that will be translated back to your daily day, to your activities. And I just wanted to make kind of a full loop with transformational travel, because you come back different. It's impossible. You are not the same person. And by being a different person, the people around you, either the close ones or not, they will be touched by this transformation. And never underestimate what this can do in other people's life, even the ones that you have a very hard time to explain what you just experienced. But on the other side, they will experience something that actually you cannot understand fully as well, because they experience your life through, pictures, videos, and stories. And then you need to do the same on reverse. So I don't know if it makes sense, but maybe it's just
Oh,
because it's very late here. Sorry.
absolutely. I love that cooking analogy. That's so good. Yeah, and it is, I guess it's that like when everybody shows up, you're like, all right, so do I have too many tomatoes, or do I have, do I have one of every different kind of vegetable? But of course you and Nunu kind of bring the spice that just kind of like pulls it all together, right? So so I do want to really appreciate and recognize the work that you guys do to make that really a seamless experience. And I feel like this is my first time going on a tour with a Transformational Travel Council member. Like I've never, I've worked a lot in the community, and I've seen a lot of posts, and I've, seen a lot of photos. but I've never actually gone on one. And so I feel really, really lucky that the one I got to go on was with the walking mentorship. And also in a weird way, I sort of like got to connect with all these other members of the TTC as well at the same time. So I kind of got like, it was almost like going on journeys with, you know, many TTC tour companies at the same time.
I feel the same way. I think it was incredibly, it was a great way to start my allyship, because it just like, it made me want to, meeting like the 8 people from the TTC and really connecting with them just made me want to dive into literally everything that the TTC does, because I've never felt so a part of a community, like so understood. Like, you know, sometimes I think the things that I say, people maybe visualize as goofy or fluffy. I don't know what word I'm saying, but I feel like the things like resonated with everybody that I was walking with. And so it does, you can be vulnerable in the space, you can learn, you can, it's a great way to start. Just walk with 8 of them, 8 TTC members.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome to the allyship. You know, book in for a walking mentorship tour. There you go. That's your new sales pipeline. Wow.
Yep.
Well, but if Jen, Heather, if you allow me just 10 more seconds, I have to say that me and my partner Noon, we felt exactly the same. Look, usually we are kind of the crazy ones on the room, right? And it's been 8 years of incredible, beautiful craziness. But when we had the honor to walk with our fellow allies, we felt that we were with our family. And this was very special, huh? Because it is a very challenging ride. And it's so good that you understand that you are not alone. I mean, I'm saying this quite deeply. It was very, very special for us. Very special. I mean, we just can say that we look forward because we become so much stronger when we are with our family. I mean, of course, then you are recharged and you go to the wilderness again for whatever time. But, you know, going back to the talks, the sharings, the depth actually we received from each one of you really make us believe that we are really proud members of the TTC community. Really, really, really proud. We learn a lot, so much with each one of you. So thank you.
And I think that, yeah, we did a lot of this on it.
Yeah.
So at the end of every day, actually, this is something I really loved, is that at the dinner and at the end of each day, we talked about what our highlights of the day were, and we went around the table and kind of shared that. And that was just such a powerful way of reinforcing the experiences that we had on the day. So just so many things that you guys did where it was just these like simple things that just were super, super powerful. And I, you know, in terms of being part of this community of these, you know, experience creators, and part of, you know, our hope at YouLi is to kind of take care of that tech side of things so that you guys can focus on all this sort of stuff that that you guys are doing out in the real world. But I just feel like it's gaining this momentum. And right after the Camino walk, I was at an ATTA conference as well, and they were talking about transformational travel, right? And you know, and they're an adventure travel association. So I think like the time when this is like I don't know, it feels like it's the moment of transformational travel is upon us. So it's really great to be part of a community that's so focused on it. And I wanted to give you some time, Heather, to talk a little bit about the transformational design course as well.
Yeah, so I did the 3-day intensive. So I think there's a 14-week one in the 3-day intensive. And I mean, I have, like I said, we've been really working on our process. We just launched, but we've been working on this process for a few years. And, you know, you think you have something hashed out, and then you you take something like the design course and it just it realigned our process. It made me think about the goals of what we're doing, right? It's to motivate and educate, prepare and plan. That's what we want to do for our travelers. And I hadn't hashed out those words. I sort of had it all over the place in this sort of brain mapping chaos that I thought was a solid system. And then I took this course and it just sort of, the framework that they present to you is, you're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. I felt myself being completely aligned, but not organized, if that makes sense. And so this helped me sort of organize how we sort of take a traveler from that initial sort of contact with us to the reflection after the travel experience. And it was, yeah. And then it propelled me to do other things. Like I'm in Atlanta because I jumped into the research collaborative that's happening here about behavioral change. And so there's just so many things that it's like a snowball, right? It just keeps growing, all these things that you take the design course and you meet a ton of people and you hear their feedback and you hear their ideas and sort of what they're doing for their business. And it's just really powerful. If you want to reorganize, or you think you just need sort of like a fluffing of sorts, I think the design course was great for that.
Well,
do you miss my sayings?
I do. I'm not mad at it, is all I'm going to say.
Yes.
So this was a phrase that was not in my vocabulary, but Heather introduced this to me on the walk, and I kept thinking, what does she mean she's not mad at it? I guess I'm pretty sure that's okay, not mad. That's a good thing. All right, great. Not mad at it. Love it. So trying to work that into my vocabulary as much as possible. That's now my gift to you as well. Feel free to use it. Trademark Heather Morse.
Not mad at it. You got to say it with some like.
Oh yeah. Got to bring the attitude for sure. And so you graduated from the design course, and so because of that, you actually get a badge from the TTC. Yes. And so would you like to share your badge and share the profile that you've created? Because after that, you also felt like it was a good opportunity to refresh your profile. So the profile is what you create as an ally. You don't have to take the course to get it. You just need to be an ally to create your profile. And I would just love it if you could share on your profile. We prompt you to complete an ask and an offer. So would you like to speak to your ask and offer?
Yeah. So my ask and my offer are sort of the same, which is so about community. So one thing that, and not to keep bringing it up, but what we're talking about in this meeting here in Atlanta is behavioral change and how to make it sustainable after someone comes home from a travel experience, and even how to I think, and obviously I'll know more tomorrow, but how to have it start in the beginning of your process to the reflection part. And I want to say, going back to the walking mentorship, I think they do a good job because they're constantly bringing you back into it. But my offer and my ask are both about community and about collaboration, because I think it takes all sorts of skills to create that environment, that behavioral change environment, to make a transformational experience for people. And so my ask is to be welcomed into the community and to have people who are open to just meeting and collaborating with me and coming up with ideas and, building out our processes together, seeing how we can work together, because I think that's really important for the success of our customers, of our travelers. And then my offer is pretty much the same thing. I have time to sit down and talk about the things that I learned and compare it to the things you've learned and build something really special out of that, because I think it is that sort of takes a village mentality. And so I offer the community and I ask for the community. So that's my ask.
I love it. I love it. So you're open, and as we can see, you've done the walking mentorship, you've done the TDC, the transformational design course. Now you're in Atlanta for the Stone Mantle program. So
Yeah.
you're in, right? And so
bit.
if they want to reach out to you, one of the things on the profiles, and when allies create profiles, they get to decide what contact details they share. So she's put her phone number there. So I mean, she's saying that's an invitation, message. Are you on WhatsApp? Are you a WhatsApp?
I am. Same phone number on WhatsApp. Yep.
Excellent. Email, connect with her on Facebook, any of those things. So when you're part of the allyship community, you can access these contact details for all the allies. And so especially if, like Heather, they've invited and said, please reach out to me, please do. Please feel like you have that permission to connect, not just on these, just watching these big events, but just one-on-one. And so Heather, if you want to just pop back to the directory to just show kind of people how can they find other people. So let's say they were looking for walking mentorship because they've heard amazing things and they want to connect with the walking mentorship. So there you go. Type it into the search box and search. And then those profiles, well, the great thing is they're very good at making sure that their name is findable. So that's the thing. You just want to make sure that if you're building your profile that, you put the words in that you want to be found for, obviously your brand name being the most important one. Actually, if you scroll down for a second, I just want to show you, if you click to upcoming trips, just up a little bit, there you go. Yeah. So they actually also use the YouLi platform. And so you can see different tours that they have, or in this case, offering vouchers. There's a Camino in June of 2024. Oh my God, it's us.
Those wily kids.
That's our group that walked the Camino. And so now we're being used for marketing for the next one, which I absolutely love. So you can have your own special recipe created in real time with Joao and Nunu on the Santiago, the Camino de Santiago. So yeah, check this out and explore to sort of get to know who these people are. And because this is your community, right? So I just wanted to make sure, obviously it's even better when you can connect in person, but we like to give people that sort of launching pad of like, at least being able to discover who else is in that community. Because as Joao said, and Heather is saying, like, knowing that you're not alone, connecting and learning from each other, that's the point of all of this, right? So please take advantage of that capability and be sure and get back to us if you do feel like, you have suggestions for improving the community. In fact, I believe Heather has a suggestion for improving the community.
I do. And I can't even take credit for it. I have to blame it on all of the people I walked with who kept just suggesting these awesome books. And I have to say, I took note of most of them. And then even in the design course, there was just book recommendations. I couldn't keep up with them. I traveled with two, and I'm a minimalist traveler for the most part. Like, I brought books with me. So I think we should start a book club, because I think reading these books and discussing them as like-minded people could be a really great learning opportunity for everyone. Plus, we get to know each other because we're sharing and vulnerable and talking about our opinions, and I think it would be great. So just saying.
I absolutely love that. And I think you have one of the books that I read for the Camino, the Art of the Pilgrimage. Is that right? Yeah. Yep. So I'm ready. I've already read it. You tell me, send me my talking, what the notes ahead of time, and I'm in. So
how do we get this started? Who do we reach out to?
I think this is a community sort of effort. So it's just a matter of us deciding to make it happen. So I don't know. Can I get a show of hands? Anybody who wants to read books with us? Anyone? Jody's in. Joao is in. Oh, we'll drag Aaron along. I'll get.
Yep. You didn't raise your hand, but you're doing it.
But yeah, I think we'll absolutely send out some information, and I think it's just a matter of finding a good time to make it happen, right? So
Yeah.
I think when you're done with your red eyeing and, you know, sleep deprivation in Atlanta, and probably after Christmas. So this will be a sort of a new year endeavor. And I think the TTC is actually working with us to kind of improve the allyship program and do a little mini relaunch in 2024. So maybe the book club will be part of that initiative to really expand the opportunities to connect with other allies and really make sure that 2024 is really giving you guys the power of this community to supercharge the initiatives that everyone's undertaking. And so on that note, I would love to give an opportunity for other members on the call to share some of their stories as well. If you want to stop sharing, Heather. And so Jody, would you like to share a little bit? And you're welcome to share stories from the Camino or just talking about the initiatives that you're working on.
Well, I'll echo what Heather said. One of the things I do, I'm a success coach, and I help people really figure out what's worth investing in, their time, their talent, and their money. And travel is a great way to do that. So I offer these experiences in countries like Rwanda and Tanzania and Guatemala and Cambodia. And it's less about where we go, but it's more about who goes and what we're doing and sharing and the community. And so really helpful to go on the Camino experience as an experience creator, to also be a participant. It reinforces things that are important. One of the things that I really appreciated about Zhao and Nunu is that they were not teachers, not just mentors. They're continual students as well. And I think that's the spirit that's really important. And something that Heather, Jen, you both talked about too. I think the experience isn't when you're there for that week or whatever the program is. It's what happens before. It's what happens afterwards, because it's really about building community. So those are the two things that I'd echo and add from my own personal work in this. Yes.
And what is the name of your business?
And my business is Connecting Growth Globally. I am physically based in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but I do 3 or 4 trips a year, and I curate them, I lead them, and gather the people that come, and I call them Think Differently trips, because that's really, as we talked about, it's not what you do, or nothing is prescribed what's supposed to happen. I have had people that have been in Africa and realized I've never liked my job in 30 years and I need to change that. I had a woman in Cambodia who realized that her 2 decades of corporate work made her an amazing coach, and did a second career transition working with that entrepreneur, but then launching her own and coaching entrepreneurial accelerators. That's what she's doing, is a fully new stage career. And I have people that have done, new things philanthropically that they'd never dreamed of. So I have no agenda. I just want people to think differently and do differently.
Oh, that's beautiful. But you also work with improving the education of girls in various parts of the world. Is that right?
I do. My thinking differently, stemmed from travel. When I was a former girl, and higher education wasn't a given for me. And then I started traveling and realized all the barriers for young women that were 100 times my own. And so that is what I actively support. So I do that financially. I do it with my time and my talent. And these young women are amazing, and they are part of every trip, because to understand the present and future of a dynamic place, you have to know what's going on with the young people, particularly the young women.
Powerful. Ooh. giving me chills.
Yeah.
Jody was my roomie on the Camino for a few nights, and just yeah, it was amazing to be able to speak with her and sort of crack open some of the things that we were sort of trying to work on the Camino. So I'm eternally grateful for her presence and compassion and ability to sort of coach people through things. So I can personally recommend spending time with Jody.
Spending time sleeping next to, yeah. Exactly.
Where the universe brings you, right?
Whatever. Exactly. Thank you. I so enjoy
Thank you, Jody.
I feel like that's a really cool thing about this community as well, is everyone is so cool that it just like lifts you up. It just wants you, like, it makes you want to be better and do things with more vigor and yeah, I think that's like listening to Jody talk. I'm just like, oh, I want to be as awesome as Jody. Like that's what this community is about. Everyone's just so really cool.
I would not be mad.
Yes, you're not mad at it.
She's not mad at it.
Yeah. No. I also think we should explain if someone's watching and they don't know what this is, because I didn't know what it was until you guys taught me on the Camino. So others know. I find myself doing it in real life now.
Yeah, it's I think it's a way, like, because of virtual communications, because clapping, messes up the sound when you're doing virtual calls. But if you do this, it sort of like visually shows that you're really supportive of what they're talking about. So I've also seen this as well, kind of like air snaps. So both good ones. And I love the sort of striving to be a better version of yourself, right? And I think that's the walking mentorship tagline, isn't it? Be the better version of yourself. Have I got that right, Joao? Yeah. So there you go. Brilliant. And Erin, I would love for you to introduce yourself and share more about Wanderwell.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. Jen and I have known each other for many years, and probably shortly after Wanderwell became an ally and I became an ambassador to the TTC. My name is Erin Fish. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and been an ally since 2019, and have always felt very connected to the TTC. What really cemented that connection was during the first year of the pandemic, when a lot of us were maybe even working hard, but not really a lot of stuff coming in, that the TTC was a support system for me personally. Weekly calls with people all over the world who we were all able to kind of vent to and get comfort from each other. So that was it. It was almost like it became almost like a unconditional love at that point. And so a lot of growth since then too. I'm really, really grateful for the TTC in general. And then also in introducing me and Jen to each other, and we're starting to do a lot more work together and work on projects together. So my company is Wanderwell. We are travel insurance, and we ultimately, our vision is to create insurance that is backed by funds that are invested in non-polluting, non-oppressive, and non-oppressive, and non-violent industries. So, I'm not sure how familiar you are with how insurance works in general, not just travel insurance, but the travel insurance companies are sometimes they're insured themselves with reinsurance companies, and the premiums that you pay to have insurance, a lot of that premium goes towards investing. They're basically money managers. That's what insurance companies are. They manage risk and they manage money. And so when we look at the portfolio of what insurance companies invest in, it's a lot of what I would call dirty money. And because they just want to see growth. They're not necessarily, maybe impact is not their priority. So that's our ultimate goal. Right now, we're a certified B Corp. We have been since 2017. We just last Thursday submitted for our third assessment, and yeah, weight off my shoulder, our shoulders, but I was the one leading that charge. And then we were a 1% for the Planet business member. So we're just looking to grow with the TTC. We are very engaged with our travelers when they need, when they want us. And we're big believers in transformational travel within, so when I travel, I'm not intentionally looking to have my life transformed. I know it will be, I just need to be open to it. And so it's going to be transformed no matter what. It's just about whether I recognize or not. And that's just that's my approach.
Yeah. And so thank you for that, Erin. And I think, isn't that beautiful that like within this community, we have Erin, who is representing an industry that's generally just kind of like, ugh, nobody wants to think about travel insurance. Nobody wants to think about insurance in general. And here you are trying to kind of make it a positive force for the world. And I think that's just really beautiful. So thank you for being you and for bringing that and giving us a positive choice in that context, right? So being able to choose travel insurance that kind of makes you feel a little bit better about your purchasing decision. And in line with that, if you are part of the TTC, definitely connect with Wonderwell to be part of their affiliate program. And we are working to make that even easier for YouLi sort of trip operators to do that more seamlessly within the platform, but you can do it on any platform that you sell your itineraries through. So definitely reach out to Erin about that. And Erin, are you going to Transcend this year?
Well, I'm hoping to go.
Yet?
If it's not me, it's going to be someone else on our team. But I'm hoping to be the one. But at the same time, I have to be here for something, so I'm trying to find a way to make them both happen.
Fair enough.
Who else is going?
So I'm kind of similar. I'm hoping personally to be able to get there. I live in Australia, so it's a bit of a trek for me, but if I don't make it, definitely one of my team members will be attending. And so this is just a little promotion to join Transcend in 2024, April 8th to the 12th. And if you attend Transcend or if you do any of the tours with any of our other allies, please definitely take a look at Wonderwell if you're a US resident traveling overseas. So there's always the little caveats with travel insurance, but so yeah, definitely check out the Transcend 2024. It's going to be in Brazil. I mean, what an amazing opportunity. Yet another place that's on my list. So I do feel like perhaps another TTC trip is calling me here. So yeah, I would love to have a little bit of a Camino reunion at Brazil. You never know, perhaps. Actually, Joao, you're going. I think I saw you on the registration list.
Yes, me and Nuno, we are already registered.
Oh, brilliant. All right. Yeah, see, clearly I need to go. Yeah, well, thank you, beautiful people, for joining today. And Heather, welcome to the TTC Allyship community. I feel like you've dove in and sort of you're drinking from the fire hose, and I'm super impressed with how much you're absorbing so quickly. And so you're definitely bringing your vibrancy to the community and growing from it, but also giving back to it, which is why I feel like your ask and offer is so appropriate, right? Because you're definitely all in, and it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Thanks for having me. It's been really fun doing this and meeting new allies.
All right,
and
guys. I know, seeing Joao and Joey again as well. Yay. And a little mini one.
It's amazing to see you all again.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to hosting another one of these. We'll do these probably once a quarter for new allies who want to share their stories. So if you are a new ally and you're interested in doing one of these with us, please reach out. I'm Jen at YouLi.team is where you can reach me. And if you are looking to connect with any of the members that you've met on this call today, you can go to the directory and search for their names, or you can just scroll through and see what the universe pops in front of you.
That's cool.
All right, guys. Continue to be beautiful, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.